All right, here we are. We are all back on the menus.
Yes, yes we are.
Hooray. After some false starts. Okay. But I think we're ready to go. So if everybody is ready, we'll just do a real countdown now. Everybody good?
Yep.
Cool. All right. Then in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Good luck, guys.
Thank.
All right. It's Crash 1.
The zigzagging game.
Yeah, WhitePaaws stream isn't loading for me. That's not good. It's up to you
Okay,
for
you
a
have
second.
the entirety of beach to get through.
Alright, we're good.
Yeah.
So yeah, zigzagging. Gonna be seeing a lot of that. It's basically just spamming diagonals in the air instead of just straightforward movement.
Going diagonally is faster. It's the same as in Crash 2, Crash 3, and Wrath of Cortex for some reason.
Yeah.
And invincibility is also faster movement, so want to get that as much as possible. Also helps you break boxes faster.
Probably higher, honestly, on that.
I'd be happy to get a 108.
So yeah, that's the first level. So straight away, second level, jungle rollers. Gonna be seeing the first gem revisit skip here. So about halfway through the level, there's this little vertical section where the runners are going to use some scenery and boxes to just basically use third mass form to break a bunch of boxes early. Bit hard to explain, but you'll see it when it comes up.
Yeah, you're supposed to ride the gem up, and there's some iron bouncy crates there, but you don't need to do it, as you'll see here. So you abuse the way that invincibility reacts with crates. It kind of doesn't break them immediately on certain approaches. So you saw there on Tebt Street was a good example. You just like jump and it will only break the top row, and you can jump off the other ones. You can actually break the boxes up top. There's 3 life crates. You can actually break them without invincibility, but obviously invincibility is a lot faster. So.
Yep, so you'll also be seeing the runners spinning a lot. Spinning is slightly faster. It's just a tiny bit of a boost. Really adds up over time.
Yeah.
But you have to be careful about how much you are spinning, because there's a thing in this game called spin timer, which is you have a reserve of 5 spins, and every 2 seconds you get 1 spin back. But once your spins run out, Crash just can't spin anymore for like a second or 2.
You also have to be careful of spins near edges, because it's very slippery in this game. So.
Yep. Luckily, there's something you can do called submarine jumping, or just sub jumping, which is when you spin off a ledge, you have a 10-frame window after your spin ends to jump out of it. You'll be seeing that a bit later on, where runners will be using that to make large gaps.
Yeah. So coming up here, I guess Burger will be the first to do it. This is Great Gate Skip. This skip's needing the yellow gem. And this is the second version of this skip. It's much easier, just abuses damage there to get on top of the level wall. The original version is actually a super precise jump onto the exit portal. There's a tiny bit on each side where you can stand without triggering the portal. But luckily neither runner needed to do well.
Oh, that death is real bad. Oh, no. Yeah, that's not the start. So, yeah, this game is really cruel with its deaths. If you die past the checkpoint, all the boxes behind you that you've already broken will actually respawn. And even if you did go backwards to break all those boxes again, it still wouldn't give you the gem.
Yeah,
so
you have to clear the level without a death and breaking all the boxes after you hit a checkpoint, otherwise you just won't get the gem.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really bad. Some levels you can lose upwards of like 3 minutes. Especially
Yeah,
like Sons of
slippery
Vista.
climb.
Sons of Vista slippery climb.
Mm.
Fun.
Yeah, so it makes running this category pretty troublesome. To be, especially at a high level, you need to have some balls of steel to do some of the strats.
Yeah. Oh, Burger, what are you doing?
Oh, man. This is a disaster. Already, this is so sad. It's okay. Everyone will fail upstream and it'll get it, so.
Yeah, that's a minute right there. It's really interesting though, because even though Burger is already like 2 minutes behind, all it takes is one Sunset Vista or Slippery Climb death, and
And then
it's
it's
straight
just
back.
not
Yeah.
even relevant. So on the other streams, there's level 4, the chase level. You run towards the camera instead. It's a huge innovation in the gameplay mechanic. So the boulder in this game is useless. It will not break any of the boxes. You have to break them yourselves. You can see that the boulder is timed to jump over the spots where the crates are.
Oh, is it upstream time? Yes.
Oh boy.
Here we go. This is possibly the hardest revisit skip in the game.
Yeah.
Definitely, even. So, yeah. There's 2 sections to it that are difficult. The first one is requiring third mask form. So, see both WhitePaaws and Tebt have 2 masks now, so they will be going for it.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, Burger is going back to just do the skip again. Great gate, not a fun level right now for Burger.
So yeah, on the next mask here, when they both get third mask form, there's one of those slippery slopes, and they'll be doing a submarine jump off it to break the box under it. So Tep's doing it here. What is that? Okay, he got it.
He's even to checkpoint in case he died, I guess.
And then here, quickly, there's a certain angle you have to hit. No, I don't think that's correct. That is, I think. No, damn. But yeah, there's like a certain pixel that you have to hit on like a 45-degree angle, and that will allow Crash to climb the wall. WhitePaaws got it there, so Crash just climbs up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bizarre, but basically there's certain parts of the scenery in this game that allow you to do that. You'll be seeing it again in Cortex Power to do the revisit skip there, but that one is a lot easier to do.
Mm-hmm.
But
so it's basically just a weird quirk where if you approach some walls at a specific angle, it'll let you like jump up them. It's weird. I don't really know how that ended up being a thing, but Naughty Dog work in mysterious ways.
So yeah, Tebt is ahead of WhitePaaws right now, but really WhitePaaws has a minute advantage over Tebt due to getting upstream, because he doesn't need to revisit that level at the end of the game. So yeah, Papu, by the way, that was a boss fight.
Yeah,
you didn't notice.
So on the Japanese version, which everyone is playing on here, is a little bit faster, but Papu actually has 2 more hits, because I guess they thought he was way too easy, even though like the J version makes a lot of other stuff easy. Like for instance in Upstream right there, if you've played this game before and you're not Japanese, and you've not played the Japanese version before, you might be thinking, why is everything so big? I don't know, they just thought it was too hard to land on the smaller platforms. So they just ballooned everything in the creek levels.
Yeah, the Japanese version has a few interesting choices for just difficulty reducement.
Yeah, some swaps with gem placement, which is actually rather relevant, because it allows for another skip, kind of, compared to the US version. So here, on WhitePaaws' screen, you might have seen the little blue gem. This is another revisit level, Rolling Stones. And I don't know, maybe someday there'll be a skip there, but It's close but no cigar right now.
Yep. So
Here's the hog.
Burger coming up to upstream of the hog zag.
The zigzagging.
Yeah. It doesn't save any time on the hog, it just makes it spam noises, which is quite fun.
High fidelity oral experience. And there's really not a whole lot to say about the hog.
Hog is pretty easy.
He can turn and jump.
Second level is a bit
much,
harder.
Yeah, much more.
A specific jump.
Yeah, just a specific jump, and also, isn't there like one of the traits is like really prickish?
Yeah, if you like hit it at the wrong angle or something, you just walk over it. It's pretty silly.
Quality
But
stuff.
here's Burger doing not upstream skip. Never mind.
Unfortunately, not getting the masks. Oh wait, no, actually, I think he said he just wasn't gonna go for it.
Oh, okay.
Which is fair. It is.
It's hard.
Not that high of a likelihood.
So yeah, Native Fortress, this level is most of the cycles here are global, so it's all about realizing what you're dealing with as you go. You'll see a lot more in the late game, but a lot of the higher end strats have really been about death abusing and getting certain cycles off of death abusing. So you'll be seeing that later on. Sadly, it's not really viable in Native Fortress.
He's jumping on top of the wall again. Just save some time instead of having to do platforming. And WhitePaaws not able to get it.
So another thing about zigzag is obviously because it's faster, it also makes you be able to clear like larger distances with your jumps.
Yeah.
And it's very noticeable at the end of Native Fortress here, jumping over these like flame platforms, because you can just clear like huge gaps by jumping off them and zigzagging. This is really useful.
You want to do as few like bounces as possible because they're not particularly fast.
So I'm just typing some much needed messages in the 1545 chat.
Viewer interaction, Rex's specialty, right here.
Yeah.
And here's the second creek level, which doesn't have a skip, so it is not quite as determinant as upstream.
Yeah, not much to say about this level. It's quite straightforward. There are like interesting things you can do, like double jumping and stuff, but way too difficult for a race and just 100% in general. It's way too risky.
So after
but it's fast.
At this point you're already done upstream, so it's just kind of like, you really want to like lose the run to save like a second on up the creek.
But yeah, there's this little backtracking here. I'm gonna leave this to you for a second, Rabbit. My cat is meowing at the door and I need to let her in.
Okay.
Good luck. I'll be back in a few seconds.
Oh no, I'm all lonely now. What can I say about something that is happening on 3 game feeds right now? up the creek is over. That's good. This level is actually... I didn't remember this level not being as interesting as it actually is, or rather, being, like, not interesting, but it kinda isn't. It's weird. I guess I just kind of forget it because it's like Native Fortress is way more difficult. So you just kind of like skip over up the creek. It's sort of this pit stop before you actually go and fight Ripperoo. So Ripperoo is a boss who is again just all about cycles and blah blah blah. It's pretty much every Crash boss. But there's specific things to do here, ways to make him much faster. So you'll see here that Tebt is spinning the TNTs much faster, and you also see him fall into the water here. And that's actually a little bit faster as well for some reason. I don't actually know why. Crash 1 is not my specialty.
I thought that was just a swag strat. Honestly.
I think like Spike Stuff or someone kept on saying like, oh, it's slightly faster.
Alright. I was just doing it because it looked funny, to be honest, but...
Wow.
Guess I'm
This
going
guy only caring about the aesthetics of his speedruns.
That's why I have a 105 and Tebt has a 103.
It's okay, you'll get like 100,000 views when you get a nice run on YouTube. So Lost City, this is what I was alluding to earlier in terms of the J version having gem, different gem placements. So you saw that they all got the green gem from Hog Ride, or Hog Wild. That's not the same as in the US and PAL versions. In those versions it just has a clear gem. But for some reason they decided to put the red gem in Lost City in the J version. And then they moved the green gem to Hog Wild. So getting the red gem in Lost City is a time save, because you need the red gem to 100% Road to Nowhere, which is 2 levels away. So that's probably the first of the notable time saves in the J version.
Why do they do that?
I don't know.
I'm really struggling to see a reason to why you would do that.
Really strange, but whatever. I guess they thought maybe too much gem backtracking. Something we haven't mentioned about the J version as well is so on the US version and the PAL version, if you watch like an any % run, you may notice that when you die after a checkpoint, Crash doesn't do the the game doesn't show you the screen at the end here. On the J version, it does show you the screen every time, but it only drops 1 crate on your head. So any % is done on the US version, basically because that and the death abusing being able to manipulate cycles makes it like, what, 30 seconds faster or something for any %.
Oh yeah, also in J, every so often when a runner picks up a mask, you'll see a little text box pop up.
Yeah.
That's like a hint on what to do in the level, and they all they do is slow you down.
Yeah.
They're pointless. Everybody hates them.
And
But-
also they buffer your input that you use to skip them, which is that can be fun near pits if you jump when you skip the text box.
They're like really useless as well. I remember like
Yeah.
reading translations on them, and one of them is just saying like how to skip the hints. Thank you.
It's like a weird thing that they just did for the PlayStation games, because they have the they do it in Crash 2 and Crash 3 as well, and they do it in Wrath of Cortex. And they also have the signs in Spyro 1 and Spyro 2. It's just like, why? What is the point? They become less common the later you get into the game, though. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we should talk about Temple Ruins somewhat. There's some cycle skips you can do by jumping into the flames there instead of waiting for them. You can also jump on the sides of them without getting hit, but it's pretty precise.
Those last push blocks, Tebt would have made a faster cycle there, but he failed to spin that box and missed it. It's the optimal cycle to get, as far as I know. But so he would have got it, but unlucky with the box. Loses about 4 seconds, I believe.
In this game, more so than like any of the other ones, it's just all about the cycles. Because your movement tech is really limited. You can, in this game, really all you can do is move, jump, spin, bring the HUD down, and pause the game. So, it's definitely all about zigzagging as much as you can to catch the fastest cycles possible.
So, yeah, here's Road to Nowhere on Tebt's screen. You'll be seeing the red gem shortly. And that is what we were alluding to earlier about the gem placements.
Yeah.
There it is.
So there's no skip for this, at least right now. So on the US version, this is a big time save over it. You don't have to revisit.
Poor Burger, man. That's just... This is just not his day.
Not his day. It's Crash 1 story.
I don't wanna...
so here's the slightly precise jumps. You can just jump off those platforms even when they're in the wall. I don't know if the other runners did it.
Yeah, Tebt attempted it. I think he messed up one of them though.
I guess Road to Nowhere is also a good level to again demonstrate how zigzag helps you clear more distance with a jump. And again, another example of cruel game design. You have to jump over the exit portal to get some more crates.
So Tebt's entering Boulder Dash now, which is another level where you can't get all the boxes on first visit. It's just another chase level. Pretty straightforward. Just pray you don't drop an input at the worst place possible. And that's about it. Zigzag and hope.
Yeah, so it's pretty much the same concept as 2 and 3. Crash games and slopes, and jumping off of slopes aren't agreeable. So you can see that most of this level is sloped downwards. So if you time your jump at the wrong spot and you're sort of falling instead of running, you won't get a jump, and it's usually really, really bad. Oh, and Wrath of Cortex also has the lovely, on the slope when you just body slam immediately. Which is always a fun one.
When are they gonna add Twok to the 1545?
Just, spice it up a little bit. Bonus
Replace Crash 3 for the 1546. It's fine.
Why not? Tebt getting good animation RNG there. Yes, the animation that Crash does there is RNG, and he can do... someone had a clip of like 4 in a row. So that's a great time loss on the J version, just getting unlucky with that.
And Tebt is also just climbing Cortex's castle in the middle of the game. Because Japanese version.
Yeah.
For some reason, Sunset Vista was too hard for Second Island, so they replaced it with arguably the only upper
level that's like comparably hard. Yeah. It's like, why? What was the point? Maybe it has something to do with the red gem being on Island 2 now? I don't know. Because Slippery Climb usually has... Well, Slippery Climb originally has the red gem, but they changed it in the J version, so... who knows the machinations of the localization team.
But yeah, this level is pretty fun. In quotation marks, of course, but there's a lot of cycles you have to make and a few kind of blind jumps unless you're paying attention to the cycles. There's a set of stairs on this last on the last floor here where it's kind of hard to tell what's going on unless you're paying attention to the cycles you're getting beforehand. I don't doubt that all the runners know what's going on here. Yeah, Tebt is waiting.
Yeah.
It probably shouldn't have, but
Yeah, ooh, that was a really bad wait.
What is that?
But the stairs weren't even going down, what the hell? The stairs are not
honestly
supposed to go up for that long.
They honestly look like a broken cycle there. That was really weird.
Oh yeah,
That is
that's
a thing
another
that
thing
can
on
happen.
J. The cycles can break and get desynced, which can make a certain section of Sunset Vista very, very fun. Like the most fun you can have in Crash 1.
I definitely do not miss any percent J. Those are bad times.
Dark times in Crash 1.
Yeah, got through the level quite comfortably. Burger's he's kind of catching up. You just need, just a few deaths, bad cortex.
Diligently working towards it. Ooh.
Oh, Burger, please.
Cursed stream.
Yeah, I'm just gonna blank out his stream and not talk about it.
I'd rather not talk about it. Oh, so here's Kong. So optimizing him includes getting lucky and moving slightly closer to him. But not too close to him, because if you're too close to him and spin the rock, it will go straight through him. Because the rock only becomes solid after a certain amount of frames. So, again, thanks Naughty Dog.
Yeah, sadly, you can't abuse that to shoot through the minecarts by standing close either, for some reason. Because they get hit by it, but Kong doesn't. Some salt in the wounds, really. Yeah. Otherwise, pretty straightforward.
Just dodge and then attack.
I like this up and down inputs by Tebt during this boss fight.
Dancing, spinning around. Oh, also, you get to see Kong shake his ass because, for some reason, it's just faster to watch out the opening cutscene. So you get to see Kong's nice hips.
Alright, so Tebt's moved on to heavy machinery, the first machinery level.
One of the more interesting to this point. Big drop down here to get to this little secret path.
Yeah, that's not the intended way. Further in the level, there's these two robots in a pit, like a thing between them.
Right there.
They were. Yeah, that normally you jump down there and then backtrack through that section, but you can just jump down into it early. There's a big jump coming up, which is
the first proper sub jump.
Yeah, hopefully Tebt goes for it. Maybe not, but we'll see.
We'll see.
It's a big jump.
Yeah, it's a big boy.
No, I can't blame him for not going.
Yeah,
for it.
I mean, you can see it's not that big of a time save, really.
It's like there's also like parts on it. If you zigzag a bit too close to the like front back wall or like to the camera, it gets you stuck. Yeah, you get stuck and it just ruins it. So it is third master room.
Pipes are a little buggy. Oh, there's a sub jump.
Yeah, there's a sub jump. Yeah, that's a good sub jump.
There's another one.
It always makes me clench every time.
Well, and there's another big jump there, but there's, for some reason, collision. You can get caught on there if you're too high up.
Is WhitePaaws gonna go for the big jump?
We shall see. Oh, and you can also just like jump around and on the sides of those pipes, or the steam pipes, rather.
Oh, Cortex Power.
Oh yes,
Hooray!
the fun level. What fun
This level used to be RNG, basically. If you would get it or not. It was like a 1 in 4 chance of not getting it, roughly. But thanks to Aussie legend, the 8-bit beast, we now have a consistent
theoretically
setup.
consistent, but difficult to perform.
But yeah,
I'll leave the commentary on this one to you. You're a known Cortex Power legend.
Known
also
failure.
need a drink, my throat's kind of dying.
Yep, so up there you go up to that section and snipe that box and then start backtracking. So there's a blue gem path here that you would need the blue gem for normally, but you can just use that wall clipping stuff from upstream to just clip up onto the ceiling, then drop down into the gem path. So but that's part 1. That's the easy, less risky part, but at the end here there's a setup that you need to do a similar thing to exit the level. Well, to exit this gem path. So you'll see Tebt line up on this ice pipe and then set up himself here, do a pause. Nice, you got it. So yeah, you pause, set up the diagonal, and then spin and do a sub jump off the wall to get to the other side. It is consistent, but it's just hard to tell where you are a lot of the times.
Yeah.
That was a very good exit though.
That's basically how you want Cortex Power to go. That was quite ideal.
That's why Tebt has the elite PB.
Ooh, yeah. Also, just like the way that you stand inside the platform or on top of the toxic waste. Isn't that just some sort of rendering glitch? Like the game doesn't know where to graphically display you.
Yeah, something like that. Did Tebt def abuse at the start of Gen Room? I didn't see.
I was not paying attention.
Yeah, probably did, but that's the modern strat for this level.
Cycle abuse.
Yeah, so you kind of know what you're getting up here. See if Tebt does this cool sub jump thing. Yep. You can jump around that corner with a sub jump straight onto the second moving platform. It's pretty risky though. It's scary as well.
And again, this game, if you die after a checkpoint, no gem. So
it's cool damage abuse.
Wow, he's not even doing the ending strat here. It's so free. I don't believe this.
Not doing red hot strat in 2019. Well,
SMH.
I would totally do that. Totally.
You gotta show it off, man. And your reward for breaking all the boxes in Generator Room is the ultra rare, literally never gonna be seen again, orange gem with its bizarre shape. And Crash 1 has 6 colored gems for some reason.
Alright, so Tebt's Tebt's in Toxic Waste. I'm watching the wrong stream. But yeah, this is actually the hardest level of the game.
So you can just tell it's extremely claustrophobic. You don't have much room to move here.
Yeah, and since you're constantly doing diagonals, you can see Tebt is slightly veering left and right. it only takes like one bad zigzag to just throw yourself off the edge, and it just makes this level extremely scary.
And also you gotta deal with the barrels, and the hitboxes are not the most ideal. There's some questionable stuff going on. And like I said, there's also the problem of the slippery spins near edges, so overall this level is just kind of like everything that makes Crash 1 difficult just sort of crammed into one. Thankfully, it is a pretty short level.
Next up for Tebt is Pinstripe. This is another boss fight. Pretty interesting. There's a little like abuse thing here you can do. You can hit him 3 times immediately when he crosses here, because that's when you can hit him. So the game doesn't really check if you've already hit him once, so you just sit there and hit him 3 times.
Yeah, and you also waited to hit him on the second possible opening, because it's a little faster. It changes his positioning in the fight.
So yeah, you can see Tebt, even though he's not really behind cover and he's just getting sprayed in the face by a gun, he's completely fine because he's in the covering animation, which just makes Crash completely invincible to the bullets. Also, J Pinstripe has amazing music.
Oh yeah, so the J version also replaces 4 of the boss fight themes for some reason, and the Torna theme as well. So Road to Nowhere had cruel game design by making you jump over the exit portal, so High Road makes you jump back at the start of the level.
High Road is also like extremely short on J, because
yeah, I think it cuts 2 bridges off the ending. It's an abridged level. Deep joke right there. I love wordplay. But again, this is just using zigzag to skip over a bunch of the panels and just go really fast. You can also run on the ropes in these levels, but it's not really faster.
Nope. Definitely not. You could try zigzagging on them, but yeah, good luck.
Yeah, you'd have to land very precisely every time.
So here's Burgers. He's in Cortex Power. Sorry in advance, Burger, if you fail this. Just blame it on me. Okay. That enemy. So there's something annoying about this game where whenever you take damage, you get bounced into the air, and it's just extremely awkward to recover from if you're not expecting to take damage. There's some points in the game where it's kind of useful to get bounced a bit, but a lot of the time it just throws you off completely.
Yeah, just you're expecting to do a certain set of inputs and suddenly you're jumping. It's not the best. And so Tebt death abused at the start of this level for cycles. Or did he death abuse? I can't remember if this is the one you death abusing.
Yes, this is the one you death abusing. So yeah. Basically, this level's hard, and having consistent cycles every time is very needed. Burger.
TNT explosion hitbox. Oh, and also a little detail at the start of Sunset Vista is that you run ahead just to load the flame on screen so that you don't have to wait for it.
Yeah, you'll see WhitePaaws do that. See him go slightly to the right and then go back for the box because it activates the flame. It's also done in Temple Ruins, but We kind of forgot about that at the
Yeah.
time. So I think we forgot about Temple Ruins as a whole, to be fair.
Yeah, it's just what can you say about a level that's like 95% black pit of nothingness? Like,
So you're using the checkpoint to hit that instead of waiting for the lizard to go all the way towards it. So yeah, Cortex bonus is the only bonus needed in this game because it contains the 2 keys to unlock the 2 secret levels. So the first one's here, and the second one will be in Jaws of Darkness, which is in 2 levels time. Some pretty interesting strats that have been discovered pretty recently in the Cortex bonuses. The first one is death abusing at the end of them to skip this save animation or save screen.
Because the
Save
death in the
2
bonus
seconds.
round, death in
As
the
long as you
bonus
get the
round does
key.
not count.
Yeah, and as long as you get the key, you don't have to redo it at all. So you'll see
Yeah.
Tebt going for safe strats here,
Going for save states.
and he fails the
Oh.
Tebt. Come on, bruh.
Oh dear.
All of those things I wanted to talk about. Come on, man.
You have to wait for pause now. Burger is just demonstrating why running this category is... You need a mindset, a certain mindset, to run this category.
When you're not having a good time, you're never going to have a good time. This is a prime example of just what happens when a run goes badly.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, pause. I'm putting all my faith in pause for this bonus. I'm ready to
Hopes
talk
and
about
dreams
it.
riding on him.
So on the second set of boxes on the TNTs, you can 3D jump around them. Hopefully pause goes for it. And then at the end of the level, you should... I don't even know if pause does the death abuse. He's not even doing the 3D range. Please do the death abuse, WhitePaaws. Grabs the key. He attempted he attempted the old method, yeah. Good effort. Good effort, WhitePaaws. Now, if Burger gets out of Cortex power, we might be able to see that range done. It's okay to just revisit the level, Burger. Just throwing that out there.
Make sure we see the strats. You have an adoring audience that needs to have them demonstrated after all. Oh, so here's Lights Out, another level that has a gem that you cannot avoid, so we'll be seeing this one a second time around. And they had this weird idea to make Aku Aku, or give Aku Aku this special ability. Oh, he lost his mask, might be a little bit of trouble here. As you can see, without Aku, you can't see a single thing except the axes and the enemy eyes.
Burger's done Cortex power.
Yay.
Yay.
I think that deserved a light round of applause. It's another death abuse for cycle manipulation there. For some reason, they just decided that in this game, Aku Aku has this weird, like, light ability, but then in the other games, Crash has to rely on bugs. So, I don't know. Very strange.
Bad writing.
It's the consistency, man. The canon is all ruined.
I mean, really, they go off the 100% ending on the other 2 games as well, as like the true ending to the next game, but honestly, the Crash 2 where Crash just runs away with his girlfriend instead of beating the villain.
Somebody else can save the world. Already did it.
Really.
Oh, and a fun thing about one of these axes in Lights Out is that it can be on the wrong axis and swing back and forth for some reason. Maybe we'll get to see it some time.
Not exactly sure what causes it. I figured
Yeah,
apparently it's something to do with having two masks entering the level. Something like that.
There's just some weird stuff in Crash games, like PS1 Crash games, that just really doesn't make sense, even when like you get the technical explanation of it. It's just like, why? Like, why would two masks
Okay,
cause
but
an
why?
axe to swing the wrong way?
Oh man. Yeah,
So
we're
here
coming
you
up
can,
on-
spinning gives you invincibility frames, so you can spin through the spears there.
coming up on the second Cortex bonus, and Tebt is definitely going to Death Abuse in this one.
You also need to be careful there. Ooh, oh my god, what a sub jump by Paws. You need to be careful with the second Cortex token, because if you spin that snake, it will go
Yeah.
straight into the TNT and blow it up.
So Tebt died there. Rats on dying Tebt. Saves 2 seconds. That's all I wanted to see. I wanted to see that tiny time save.
Optimal stuff.
So you can see after every level, the longer it goes, it has to count the gems individually, and it just gets longer and longer as the game like progresses. It's kind of nice for like a breather, but it's
Once
just
you've got like
weird.
20 gems, it's
You're just
all
sitting
of a
there
sudden
waiting.
just...
I think the last one is like upwards of 30 seconds long, just waiting for cheats. But yeah, second machinery level, castle machinery. This is you want to go consistently fast through this whole level so you can make a certain cycle on these platforms going up and down at the end. Missing that cycle loses 13 seconds. It is one
Yeah,
of the
it is.
longest cycles
So
in the
you'll
game.
see it here. Oh wait, no, not here. It's in a bit.
It's pretty. Basically, as long as you don't make any huge errors, you'll make it. But yeah, it ends up being a lot more costly. If you lose like 3 seconds, it ends up being like 13, as I said. So I don't like this third mask form that Tept gets here. Look at like it bounces you. It's so scary. I don't. It is honestly terrifying. I hate
He's
it.
a world record holder. Trust in him. He knows what he's doing, probably.
Yeah, he definitely does. It's definitely faster for this section. It's just horrifying to do.
There's a lot of Crash 1 high-level strats.
So yeah, we're coming up on the end of this level. We'll see if Tept makes the cycle. As it stands right now, he's comfortably making it. He's even doing the slow box bridge strat, because he doesn't need to go any faster. So when he goes up here, there should be 2 platforms coming down. Yep, there they are. Made it. Plenty of time.
Wait to see.
So you can see how
slow
long
these
this is.
are.
Yeah. So you'd have to wait for it to go all the way up and then all the way back down if you missed it. So not fun. Little mask abuse there on the final pipes. Saves waiting on that slow platform.
Oh, and also Castle Machinery, if you have the green gem, it lets you just skip the entire level if you want to, so the strat in any percent. I'm actually 100% level with the green gem. just so you can skip all of Castle Machinery. And even though you might think it's possible, you cannot jump across to the exit portal. There's an invisible wall.
Yeah,
And
so,
here's Brio.
So the game wants you to jump on top of these little green things, but you can actually just spin them in the air, and it kind of counts as jumping on them.
Yeah, it's
For
sort
some
of
reason.
similar to, you might have seen it if you watched the Crash 2 and Crash 3 style. Well, Crash 3 didn't get one, but the Crash 2 race, where you can, like, spin away enemies you're not supposed to. It's sort of the same idea here. Just Crash, when he's spinning in the air, the spin just sort of has different properties. It's a bit weird.
Say that boss is over as fast as it began. Crash bosses are all pretty dull in that sense. They're
Yeah.
not really that challenging. They're kind of like a breather, really, if anything, between the hard parts of the game. So here's Lab. That cycle, you have to go pretty fast there to make it under that door in time. But Tebt's more than fast enough. There's something interesting that could happen up here. When you'll see Tebt snipe this scientist into some TNTs, and for some reason that can deload part of this bridge, this final bridge. It didn't happen, but that bridge can deload just randomly. It Crash 1, ladies and gentlemen. Really, truly a good video game. Yeah, those final TNTs, you need to blow them up with a spin there, or wait for them. Because if you bounced on them and then instantly went into the exit portal, they wouldn't blow up in time. So say you missed 3 boxes. It's pretty mean, but oh well.
And now Tebt is going to begin the backtracking, now that he's cleared out the last proper level.
So yeah, we'll be revisiting levels and doing the 2 secrets from now on Tebt's screen. First up is Lights Out. I'd say Lights Out 2 is easier than Lights Out 1. Like, you just get halfway through the level and then you go up a gem and that's it.
Yeah.
What is...
maybe uncertain of that one right there.
Better safe than sorry. It's fine.
Oh, Burger did the jump around thing. Okay. There you go, your wish fulfilled.
Good job, Burger.
And he did the fast death abuse as well, so...
We can forget about the other parts of this run.
Yes.
You're winning
the
in my heart.
unfortunate circumstances leading towards this moment.
So yeah, the yellow gem's just sort of chilling. Yeah, just climb it up. And you're done.
Mm-hmm.
Hard gem path. Yeah, so WhitePaaws didn't spin that, so he had to wait a second to go onto the exit portal.
So you can see now, like, that it's getting to the point where it's just like, okay, get the gems over with.
Yeah, Tebt's run is actually really good. He's had a few small deaths here and there, but the only major mistake...
blight is upstream.
Upstream, yeah.
Which is like, whoa, man, it's so sad he didn't get the hardest skip in a race.
I'd say he's on, like, yeah, 105 with no upstream, which is crazy.
This is Fumbling in the Dark, and it's a level, certainly. No disputing it.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's awful.
In harsher terms, yes.
So definitely one of the maybe top 3 hardest levels in the game. Just sometimes you can get bad cycles that are really hard to deal with.
Yeah.
You
Like,
can spin through the axes, but even there, that like if you're on good pace, it's pretty horrifying to do. You can see Tebt's doing it there,
gonna have to do it out
spinning
of
through the
necessity.
axes into a sub jump. Yeah.
Like, casually in this level, it's so easy to just run out of light, and then, oh, just pretty much screwed if that happens.
Burger and WhitePaaws are on the same level. Yeah.
Nice. It's a sync, they're all in the same type of level. Also do appreciate how, like, we have, like, the, like, steps towards, brightness. So you got Tebt with the darkest screen, and then WhitePaaws with the sort of moderately bright screen, and then Burger's got, like, the brightest screen.
Oh yeah.
Personality to the game feeds.
So yeah, Tebt's going into whole hog now, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a certain hog that you have to jump over. You'll know which one because it's just like even when like you make it over, it doesn't feel like you're going to. It is one of the tightest jumps in the game.
Yep.
It's coming. I think it's the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just look at that. That was.
Like, I'll never blame someone for missing that hog. It's crazy. Swag strat there, not even jumping on the drum, just around it.
A little bit faster. Yeah, so it's one of these boxes that just got broken. That's the one that you can just run on top of because punishment for no reason.
So yep, Tebt's coming into upstream revisit now. It's fun. It's just upstream. It's nothing special really. He might go for. Hopefully he goes for fast strats here at the end. But I wouldn't blame him if he doesn't. It's pretty risky. You can just do a sub jump over instead of waiting for one of the leaf cycles, or both even.
Mm.
His run is actually, according to his splits, it's pretty decent pace, honestly. He's only about a minute and a half, I think, behind his PB.
Also, that box when the gem's there, that Tebt just broke. When the gem is there, that box is so weird. Like, you have to like do something really specific to break it.
Did a nice sub jump there to skip that cycle. Pretty cool. He's going fast. Doesn't look like WhitePaaws died to the hog, which is good.
Paul's run's been pretty solid actually.
Yeah. Yeah, he got upstream as well. This is good.
So he and Tebt are actually gonna be pretty close. Yeah, look at that. That's like what, 5 seconds between them or something.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. It ended up being really close. All thanks to basically the first 7 minutes.
Yeah. It's okay. You know, there could still be some disasters happening for Tebt and Paws, and Burger could pull out the W here, but I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see.
Native Fortress 2, man. You
Yeah,
never
yeah.
know. That level is crazy,
Very difficult level.
and it's long as well. So you know, about 5 deaths at the end of native, and Burger can win this. Yeah, you need that box Tebt. Just a bit.
Just slightly. No box dupe in Crash 1, unfortunately.
Oh, Burger, please. Ah, he's alive.
Um. Okay.
Alright. Alrighty.
Whatever works.
He knows what he's doing, it's fine. Yeah, but this is really close. It all comes down to the end game. If Tebt can survive these last 2 levels, and WhitePaaws can too, then
Yeah, I'll be really close. Looking at the timers, I think WhitePaaws is like 2 seconds ahead. That's about it.
oh yeah, shit.
Oh, looking at his timer compared to Tebt's, but
The delay's a bit off for me.
yeah.
It's a bit weird, but this could be decided by Native Fortress cycles, to be honest.
Yeah, really. Might have to come down to doing some corner cuts and optimal zigzagging in Great Hall.
Oh, that was close, WhitePaaws. Jeez. A man with no fear.
Need no fear to run this game at a high level, or this category at least. Somebody just like started washing their car outside, so that's nice. I hope that doesn't get picked up on the mic.
I can't hear it, so it should be fine.
We're all good, we're all good.
So yeah, I better see some mad zigzag in Great Hall here to determine the winner.
Just zip-zag it.
I even get the gems, just zip-zag across.
100% ending.
Oh, that was some nice boxes from Tebt.
Nice and clean, that's pretty tricky to do.
And WhitePaaws does it too. Nice.
Ted with like a super clean gem path there.
Very close. I think, yeah, would be. Gonna have to wait and see when they both split. Tebt's on a 103.07, 8, 9. Alright. And WhitePaaws is on a 103.06.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 seconds ahead.
Not bad, not bad. So here's Boulder Dash 2, and it's a bit more interesting than the first visit, because there is a skip with the last boulder. If you go fast enough, you can actually get on the purple gem and go down into the secret area before the boulder even reaches you.
Quite a bit of zigzag.
No, just a little bit, you know.
Yeah. Also requires not hitting any of these weird fence post things.
Yeah.
You can hit a few of them and still make it if your zigzag is pretty good, but I'm watching all of these jumps. It's just one dropped input at the wrong time here, especially on like these last few platforms. Tebt's definitely got the skip. WhitePaaws 2.
It's probably like just the coolest area in the game in terms of visuals. It's really weird. Unfortunately, to play it kind of sucks because the perspective is awful. It's really hard to tell like where you are compared to plants.
Yeah, great haul. I'm not counting it out as a proper level, but I think
I do think that
WhitePaaws
WhitePaaws has this just barely.
2 seconds ahead. If Tebt busts out the mad zigzag and WhitePaaws doesn't, we might see something different here.
Ted seems to be going in the spins.
He's zigzagging.
WhitePaaws is not.
He's zagging.
He's going for the corner cuts.
Oh man.
Oh, he's going for it. Ooh, almost over-zigged.
105.59. Tebt, WhitePaaws got this.
He did save a second over him.
Same.
GG.
Good.
Yeah, that
That's
was
real close. That's
really,
great.
really good.
Dude, you actually won.
What the fuck?
It is. You really do not see races that
Dude, I
close
got
in
absolutely
Crash
stupid.
1, like ever.
Yeah.
Like,
Dude, you know where I died? It only had one death.
There's so much that can
Wait,
go
no.
so easily wrong.
Dude, listen. No.
that's crazy.
Do
But
you know what
dude,
happened?
Tebt dropping a
I missed the last hit,
105.59
right?
with no upstream,
So I
that
just did
is
the normal
Yeah.
thing, and I
really
stood, like, on the
respectable.
platform on the right,
Some solid
like
time, you
central
know.
right. And while Reaper was dying, he jumped on the platform I was in and I died.
Alright, Burger,
Aw, no.
Like he had 0 HP.
how you doing?
And he killed me.
Jeez, that sucks.
Yeah, it's just like Papu
Soldier on.
falling down and killing you.
Damn, I
But
didn't
yeah,
know that could
meanwhile,
happen there.
I'm still in Lights Out 2 right now.
Oh, damn.
I'm having a fantastic run.
Lights Out 2. He's
Sucks. I was
he's
super
just
nervous throughout
had
all
a-
mine. I don't know
this
why,
is what
usually
you
I
expect
run
from
zeros,
Crash
but
1.
it didn't
That's what
help.
Burger's
A
got.
billion close calls
Burger's
that
just
were
taken all
scaring
the
me
bad
constantly.
stuff from the other runners
yeah.
and just got it
Give me
piled
the
on.
Discord through. Heck yeah, hello.
He took one for the
Yeah,
team.
whatever.
He
There's nothing I can do
took
about
all
that
the
right now.
mistakes and made sure the other runners could get good times. Thank you, Mr. Burger, for your sacrifice.
Respect you. Somebody had to just demo like how Crash 1 will usually go. It's unfortunate, but what happens when they decide to develop a game where you have to quit out of the level if you die after hitting a checkpoint?
This is so sad. Alright, will we see the hog jump?
And the big boy jump.
The big hog.
Some hog zag. It's every single time the jump is so close.
What the hell, like, tight it actually is.
Hmm.
Like, alright. Whole hog complete.
Also, if you pay attention to Paul's stream there, you can see that Crash is actually not getting absolutely anywhere at all. Like, maybe if he like decided to fly anywhere, he wouldn't like get caught up in Cortex's schemes again. But unfortunately, he just decided to flap on top of this bird for like an hour. And that's how
love
the Crash
the 100
series continues.
The 100% ending is just so bizarre in this game. It's like Crash didn't want to save the world; he just wanted his girlfriend back, and the rest, the world can deal with those problems. Crash just a simple,
He's happy, man.
simple individual.
He's got what he wanted. Ugh.
Please, Burger. Just throwing it out there. It's 11 a.m. Burger, and I haven't slept yet. Please.
It's okay, you can just make a coffee and fine, you'll be wired.
Pause. What's pause doing? Showing the volume.
The state-of-the-art options menu.
Two
Slightly.
sliders and a. Is that mono and
Yeah,
stereo or
mono
something?
and stereo.
Beautiful.
Slightly more advanced than FM, with its mono or stereo option.
No, there's no volume like
Yeah, there's
control
just
at all.
mono or stereo.
Go Burger, go.
You can do it. I think he's still gonna like
Career
comfortably
mode.
beat my PB, so good.
What is your PB? Is it
118 something. Shout outs to the Never Did Wrongs gang.
Dang. 118.13 is the time to
Oof.
beat.
Blistering.
Is there any? I'm trying to think of some trivia.
Did you know that Spyro used to be green, but he blended in with the grass, so they changed him to purple?
Wow.
These are the facts that you can only get when your boys Rab and Rex are commentating hot Crash runs.
Did you know that Crash 3 is the worst of the trilogy?
These are all truths.
Yeah. These aren't opinions.
Maybe truths you don't agree with, but they're truths.
Sometimes reality hurts, and you just gotta push yourself through it. Like a bad Crash 100% run.
Just gotta keep on fighting.
2 more levels.
2 more. And then the Great Hall, and then Salvation.
2.5 levels, technically, I suppose.
It's like 2.24 levels or something. I gotta say though, the options menu is quite comfy.
Little flames in it. Nice aesthetic. There's not much like weird things like you can't really do a glitch exhibition sort of thing for Crash 1. There's just not enough interesting things.
Pretty much all like the interesting stuff is actually done in the run. And I guess you could show off the weird like stuff with rolling stones and trying to skip that gem path. And I guess
Yeah,
you could
no.
also show off like getting into the wall in this section.
I don't underestimate Burger from this run.
Yeah.
He's just been like
BB's like 106.
just been dealt a bad hand. Yeah,
Like the
Burger
worst
is
hand.
one of the like best runners out there, definitely.
Yeah, of like all 3 of the original games.
Crash reward record holder. I believe top 5 in Crash 1 at this point.
Yeah, 106.22, that should be.
He's
And
got a
it's
Crash
a
2 as well.
118 in Crash 2 on emulator, so I think he does have the best combined, like 3 completion category times.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't know what Koji ended up getting, but
He doesn't have a 105, I don't think. Or if he does, it's like a 220 something.
just give Burger money. If you you want to show your condolences for this run, just give him some money. Look at that sub emote. Saying you don't want that? You have roughly 2.5 minutes to subscribe to Burgerlands before this run ends.
Mm. If you subscribe to him, you can afford to buy a burger in celebration of completing this run from hell.
1 sub is 1 McDouble from McDonald's. That is the food of Crash speedrunning.
I mean, I gotta be real here. I like never eat McDonald's because every single time I'm like, this time it will not make me feel awful, but it does, like every time. Baconator.
Baconator. Alright.
After all that's happened to Burger here, I don't really know if you want to have like something with so much fat in it. It might not be good for the heart at this point.
Have a nice salad.
Just don't really want to stress the heart anymore.
Dude, they had like the build your own burger crap at McDonald's.
Yeah, that was so good because like the patties were not disgusting and
No, they were like proper, but they were expensive.
yeah, and the bread was better as well. I'm so sad they got rid of that.
Yeah, but they had one of the bun options was a lettuce wrap. Like wrap your burger in lettuce.
It's like why?
Very intriguing. I'm sad I never got to try that.
Very interesting.
So if you're listening, McDonald's Australia, bring it back. I want to try a lettuce wrapped burger.
Can do it.
Speaking of burger, we're great hauling.
Oh yeah. Once more for the fans.
Zigzag.
Just pull off the big zigzag, skip all the gems.
Sub 120. Hell yeah.
Woo.
GG. Burger.
GG.
I'd
boys,
just
GG.
like to say. Alright. Oh, that was Crash 1 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
an
let's go
adventure.
talk to the runners. Let's go hit them up.
Very.
Oh, hello.
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 Hi.
How did you
That
enjoy watching me exclusively for like 15 minutes?
Pretty
It was,
good, man. I've seen worse.
Well,
It
you've
was
done
the
worse
other
yourself
hour
by
of
a
that
lot.
run.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
I mean, I've dropped a hot 205 in this category before, so in like 2012 or something with no strats. So.
To be fair, I thought I was gonna get a 205.
My sum of worst segments went from 202 up to 209 this run.
Oh, lovely.
See, there's the silver linings. Run against those splits next
Dude.
time.
I'm pretty sure my sum of worst. I saved 3 hours 58 minutes on my sum of worst.
Oh my God.
What a magnificent category this is. When you can have like a 4-hour sum of worst, 4-hour long speedrun.
Dude, it was insane that like Tebt and I were that close. I didn't even know.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I didn't look at anyone's feed at all during it, so I had no idea where you guys were, but that's crazy.
Yeah, there were like no comments in chat that kind of gave us a clue or anything about where you might be. I was wondering myself.
Yeah.
I saw an Andy Gavin like when I was in Jaws, and I thought maybe Tebt died in Jaws.
Basically, what happened was Ted didn't get upstream, but he played better than you, just
Yeah.
overall. So it was basically just pretty much came down to 2 seconds. So.
I also died in
Also-
Ripper Roo. Did you enjoy that death? Oh, that was great.
The time WhitePaaws got is the new best marathon run in this category, so that's
Oh,
cool.
hell yeah.
Before it was a 106.
Nice.
I mean, it's insane that we both got a 105 though. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
both our runs were the first 105s in marathon.
And they would be
Have you got upstream
4th and
in a
5th place on the
marathon?
leaderboard comparatively, right?
I don't think I've ever gotten upstream in a marathon. I'm definitely the worst at upstream of all the runners.
This is the second time I get upstream on marathon.
Jeez.
God gamer.
WhitePaaws, consistent.
Dude, just do the up left corner setup. That's the that's the strat.
I don't know how to do up left corner setup.
Just watch my PV, I think.
Hope and pray.
Yeah, that.
It's the good strat. That's what I do.
It covers all the Crash game strats. So.
Pretty much.
I mean, why would you do any like difficult skips when you'll just drop an input and die anyways?
Backed up.
I got a dropped input in Road to Nowhere. Luckily, it was before a check.
All right. Thanks
Alrighty.
everybody for being part of this. Appreciate it.
Probably.
Go to a quick outro.
Hello.
All right, yeah, that's going to be the end of our stream today. I want to thank everybody who's been sticking around and watching this. What a fantastic race. A 2-second finish. And Burgerland's, of course, bringing up 3rd place there. Still fun to watch. Always good, high-level gameplay from all 3 of them. Even though the time wasn't as good as it could have been. Just got unlucky there. But yeah, that's all we got. We have 1 race left in our 1545 Invitational Series, which we've been doing for the past 2.5 months now, since early March. And all we have left out of the 13 games is Super Mario Galaxy 2. That will be happening next Saturday, this coming Saturday on the 18th. Right, the 18th? Yes, the 18th. I had to check there. We've got a very, very high level race. We've got, I think, 4 of the top 6 runners, if I'm remembering correctly. We've got Oddme, Mutants Abyss, Hardcore Gaming, and How to Cantaloupe all going to be doing that race, all within 10 minutes of each other, 8 minutes of each other actually, in a 10-hour category. That's pretty impressive. So it should be a very exciting race. Even if you can only stick around for a little bit, things should be close, I imagine, all the way through. Yeah, so that's going to be really exciting. And then the day after that, the 19th, we have 2 things. First off, we're going to be doing a recap stream of all of these races that we've had, these 13 individual races. There's been a lot of exciting moments, definitely some great clips and highlights and things to look back on. So we're going to try doing that. And just talking a little bit about, what the 1545 looks like this year and what it's going to be doing in the summer. And maybe we'll talk about some other events throughout the rest of the year. But be sure to tune in on Sunday, the 19th, for that. I don't remember the exact time. I want to say it's going to be around 2 p.m. Eastern. Might be later. We'll definitely have a time out there later. If you want to know about that time when it gets announced, or any other stuff relating to the 1545, be sure to check out our Twitter at @_1545. You can follow us on there. We post all of our updates out on there. It's definitely the best place to be to see things when they happen. You can also join our Discord if you just want to hang out with the community. We'd love to have you. We have over 200 people in there now. It's fantastic. It's not super active, but it's definitely a welcoming place. If you want to learn any of the games or just hear more about what we're about, get involved in our community. We'd love to have you there. Discord.1545.org. You can also see Nightbot in the chat there. Just posted a link to our website, 1545.org, where you can read a little bit more about the event itself, see what we've got coming up this year, and different stuff like that. There's ways to get involved, all that fun stuff. We also link out to a few other marathons if you're interested in just seeing, what the different communities that we have are doing throughout the year. I think that's pretty much everything. I've shouted out all of our social stuff. Be sure you follow us here on Twitch. I noticed that we just passed 2,600 followers. That is quite impressive. I think we started this whole series at 22. So it's been great to see that kind of growth happening. I'm excited about that. I'm glad people are interested enough to be following us. That makes me feel really good. Very excited to see what the summer holds. Reminder that our main event is going to be July 12th to July 14th. We're doing 13 games back to back to back to back. Teams of relays, like Nightbot is saying in there. I'm just repeating what he's saying. Check out our website for more information on that if you're interested, or do any of the things I said before. Now, relating to that, the second thing that's happening on Sunday, main signups are opening. If you are at all interested in being part of the 1545 this year, doing any of the runs, signups for that will be opening on Sunday, right after our recap stream. So it should be really exciting. I'm excited to see, who's signed up, who's new, who's returning, all that fun stuff. It's always a good time. I hope you will consider it. If you just want to start picking up a game, feel free. It's a little bit, not too much time to do that now, but they'll be open for 2 weeks, so you can learn a speedrun in that time. It's definitely open to anybody who's willing to put the effort into learning their game. That's what we're all about. It's just having fun and being a community across different speedruns and different games that might not interact too much. But yeah, I think I've talked long enough. This is like 10 minutes of an outro, something crazy like that. Probably not that long. Still far too long. I've kept you for long enough. I apologize. I'll let you go now. But I do want to say thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around. Hopefully we'll see you on Saturday, and have a good night. Goodbye.